Hi Demilade, Daphne here. How are you? Just want to say how nice it is to be correcting your essays. I think you're doing really, really well on the course, and it's great that you're keeping writing as often as you can. Well done. Okay, so here we've got the crazy line graph. Okay, I like this line graph. It's quite funny. It's quite funny. I mean, it's quite fun because there's no pattern. But the way I would do it is take a pencil. Mark what is different here. What are the main features? So this for me is quite interesting. Wales very dry here. These other two countries very wet. Everybody pretty wet in July. Here, this big surge here, and then low points here. So I would kind of start by talking about those and then see where you go. What you want to avoid is too much listing the countries separately. So the line chart illustrates the volume of rain in 3 different countries, in 2018. You could say UK countries. Scotland began the period with just, now your overall sentence, personally I like to put the overall sentence here as an intro rather than as a conclusion. It is totally up to you, but here, if you're going to put it here, or wherever you put it, you need to have more, it needs to be bigger than that. The highest volume of rain witnessed was about 130, okay, by X country in, or whichever one it is, by, move up and down, by Scotland in March, whereas the driest country overall was something. So you need to do a little bit more there. Scotland began the period with just under 125, but this plunged in February to about 20. The Scottish population experienced a surge in rainfall in March, and this represented the highest amount of rainfall in the country that year. Perfect. In April, the amount of rain plummeted, but not as significantly as in February. You don't need to repeat those two. Between April and September, Scottish people experienced fluctuations in the amount of downpours before witnessing another peak in October. Okay, that's lovely. Well done. Really nice. England also began the period with a significant amount of rainfall. Between February and May, the English saw a variation before it experienced the least rainfall in June. Witnessed the highest volume, okay, with that of the Welsh, okay. In contrast to the English and Scottish, the Welsh, it's a SH, Welsh, witnessed only about 50 at the beginning of the period. Decline in the volume of rain. The Welsh people registered the least amount of rainfall that year. Okay. Between April and June, the amount of rain varied between a summit, a high point maybe. A summit is really for a mountain. A high point in July. The amount of rain remained steady. Okay, so, I mean, you can see, you've done this very beautifully, but as an examiner, okay, what you haven't done is compare, and you have summarized, but also you give me a lot of information. So if you go back to the task instructions, make comparisons. Okay, report the main features. Okay, so I go back to that suggestion I made at the beginning, turn this on its head, do it a different way. Maybe write it again for yourself, just to show yourself how to do it. It's actually much more fun, but talk about this. Talk to me about the main features. You know, while it was very dry in Wales during the summer months or during late summer, autumn, England and Wales experienced peaks in their rainfall at 120 or 130 mil, which was, then now we're going to do the lovely comparison, which was 100 millilitres more than that in Wales. So this is what's going to get you the marks. Yours is lovely, but it won't get you a band 7 because you're not making the comparisons. So just have that in your mind, okay? I know you can do it, but think of all that lovely comparative language that you can use here. Your contrast, I think we've done this before, haven't we? But in contrast, in comparison, whereas, while, 3 times more than or less than, twice as, wet as, all these comparative structures, that's what I'm looking for, okay? And that's the same with all the diagrams. So keep that in your mind, okay? Good. So these days, more fathers stay at home and take care of their children while mothers go to work. What could be the reason for this? And 2 questions, is this a positive or negative development? It's a widely known fact that mothers are instrumental in, so instrumental, usually with the preposition would be in, not to, in the upbringing of children. Yet nowadays it's been observed, good, that a growing number of fathers remain at home. You could have choose, or maybe they don't choose, tend to. Let's go tend to, that's a bit more neutral because they may have to. So tend to remain at home to nurture their children, whereas their wives have jobs. Good. This essay will discuss reasons for this development, such as financial burden of caretakers, using examples from the Kenyan Ministry of Education, Ethiopian government. Lovely. I mean, your writing is so good. I mean, wow, it's just lovely. It's like a model essay. One of the reasons why fathers now stay at home is the cost of hiring and sustaining a caretaker or nanny. Now, in the UK, we would use the word nanny, who is specifically looks after children. A caretaker more like looks after the house. And actually, we would probably say housekeeper. It's a subtle difference. A caretaker looks after the house when maybe you're not there. A housekeeper looks after the house when you are there, but also the nanny looks after the children. So cost and sustaining, which is usually almost a little bit informal, I go significant. That was such a good word for IELTS. Significant, and this often deters many families from indulging in this practice. Excellent. Secondly, it is crucial that a parent is often available to train and educate. Train? I train a dog. I'm not sure if I like to train my children. Let's be positive. Let's go encourage and educate children before they start a school formally. Good. This positively influences their performance holistically. When they now resume suggests they have started, then they stopped. So I would go when they begin. A formal school you could have. For example, recent research. Now watch out. A study or just research with no article. So recent research showed that pupils who were tutored by a parent before the commencement of school year performed better in 80% of the subjects compared to their counterparts who received no lessons. Brilliant. Therefore, it's clear that the financial burden and children's education is the main reason. So good. So good. Absolutely fantastically well argued, very clear. You're answering the question, you're not getting distracted, the language is great, and the vocabulary excellent. So really, really nice work there. Although stay-at-home dads, good, contribute significantly to the intellectual growth. Now, just a little bit more tentative, may, yeah, although it is often said that. Yeah, so these little phrases here are just softening the language and are quite nice for academic style of writing. This frequently has notable drawbacks. While fathers remain at home to nurture their children, mothers are usually compelled to work overtime and secure and frequently. So same thing, not always, but often. Frequently secure multiple jobs to compensate for the income gap at home. This often, good, you got it there, has profound adverse health effects on mothers, as they might, good, experience increased stress levels from working excessively. Absolutely. For example, an extensive study by the Ethiopian government revealed that 60% of working mothers had to secure, now I would go were obliged to either were obliged to secure or obliged to sustain multiple jobs. Okay. Because they are the breadwinners of their family. Good. Thus, that having stay-at-home fathers and working mothers is, I was going to say, might be detrimental to the family balance. I think you need to go detrimental to something just to finish off that idea. But really, really nice otherwise. That's good writing. To conclude, although having fathers who remain at home to nurture children may have some benefits, good. You can put in your opinion here, I believe that, because it affects the mother's health negatively, because it could. So yeah, it could. So these really useful modal verbs, might. Okay, but I know it's not an opinion essay, but because you're writing it feels like you're writing from the heart. So I think, well, anyway, I think it is nice to be able to put your opinion in here just at the end. It just kind of sums up your writing really neatly. But that is so clear and coherent. And you can hear from the ease I have reading this, that this is a really quality essay. Really well done. Thank you so much.